Okay, so I picked up a slide before we go into the statistical part, because there would be a lot of things related to frequency, cumulative frequency. Numerical data should be treated differently for statistics, and the categorical data should be treated differently. So I just picked up the slide from our previous lecture where the different type of variables I've just listed out that we have discussed what is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. There were four types. So nominal and ordinal, just I'll give you an overview again. So nominal and ordinal, they are categories. So categories are high, medium, low. It can be male and female. So nominal, where there is no sequence like gender, male and female is nominal. Ordinal is when though they are categories, but there is a intensity associated with it. There is a sequence associated with it, like high, medium, and low, or greater, lesser, something like that. Interval are the values of the variable that are ordered, and additionally differences between values are meaningful. So interval, however, the scale is not absolutely anchored. So calendar dates, temperature on Fahrenheit scales are the example of interval values. So additional and subtraction is possible, but not the multiplication and division is not possible. So difference between dates is significant. So I'd say if 13th July and 10th July, it's a 3-day difference, but you cannot just multiply 13th and 11th July. Temperature. Similarly, so 10 degree is lesser than 15 degree. Difference also gives you a 5 degree difference, but multiplication doesn't hold any significance here. Ratio. So variable with all the properties of interval plus absolute. So non-arbitrary 0 point like age, weight, temperature. So all the other data that we see typically in maths data, this falls into the ratio category, and all the mathematical operations are meaningful operations. So I just picked this up from our last discussion. So nominal and ordinal, this is categorical data, and interval and ratio, this is numerical data. So wherever we treat it, where we go inside the box plotting or the histogram, then we would treat it separately. Okay, statistics describes a numeric set of data by its center, variability, and shape. What is center is how the data is distributed across a center statistic. There are three types of center statistic: mean, median, mode. Primarily, there are others too, just not to confuse you. Second is variability, how dispersed the data is, or how far is the data from the center position, that is standard deviation and variance. Third is shape, how the shape of the data looks like. Is it a very flat type of shade? Is it a skewed type of shape? So all those properties goes into shape. Statistic, that's about the numeric set of data. When we consider the statistics of the categorical set of data like gender and high, medium, low, then the frequency, percentage, and proportion of each category is a differentiate. What's the frequency? Is the number of time that particular category is appearing. So like 5 males and 10 females, it's a frequency. Proportion of each category is called relative frequency. So in the class there are 30% females and 70% males, so that's the proportion of that category. And third is the percentage, that's basically the same thing. And there's another statistic being there we will discuss, like the cumulative, that's applicable for both of them. But cumulative is also something being cumulated across the category. That's also an important statistic for the categorical set of data. And also there's a word of caution here: whenever we have a numerical data, we can always convert numerics to category by taking a range, by taking different breakpoints that we'll see in the data while we do the actual exercise. Distribution. So the basic phenomenon across the statistic, right, the all the three things like center, variability, and shape, they are dependent on how the data is distributed. So distribution tells us what values of the variable takes and how often it takes these values. Different properties being listed out here: unimodal, the data which has one single peak; bimodal is the data having two distinct peaks; symmetric is the data which is left and right half are the mirror images. So by looking at the data distribution, somebody should quickly pick up it's a unimodal, it's a bimodal, it's a symmetric, non-symmetric. So these are some properties which actually defines the data. So I said, so we discussed 2 slides back that there are three major things that basically describes the statistic of a distribution of data. First one was the centrality, second one was the variance or the variability of the data, and the third one is the shape. So let's start with the first one, which is the centrality of the data. So measures of central tendency. So while distributions provide an overall picture of some data set, it is sometimes desirable to represent some property of the entire dataset using a single statistic. Though I have 100 observation of the weight, but I want to use only one statistic to define the whole data. So 100 people's weight, I would just say that average, mean is 50. So that's a single statistic. That central tendency gives us that single statistic. The first descriptive statistic that we'll discuss are those which used to indicate where the center of the distribution lies. Some in the statistics parlance, it is also known as the expected value. It's not the value that has to be in the data set itself. So let's say if there are two people, one is with the weight 10 kg, another one is the weight 5 kg. So what is their central weight is 7.5 kg. So there's nobody in the group which is 7.5 kg, but it is a measure of centralness or the mean of that data distribution. So central tendency values need not to be existing in the data set itself. And as I said, there are different measures with their own advantages and disadvantages. First one is mode. Mode is simply the value of the relevant variable that occurs most often. That is the highest frequency in the sample. So if I take a quick mode of the class in terms of date of year of birth, so all the people in the class would similarly year of birth would be there. So if I need to know what is the mode, if I need to know that most of the people when in which year they were born, then mode is the statistic that will give me a quick flavor saying okay, most of the people were born in year, let's say 1990. Note that if you have done a frequency histo, then you can often identify the mode. So that's definitely whenever if we draw a histogram, we can identify the mode, whichever bar is the highest bar, then that's the mode of that data. However, we will not work when the grouping was performed prior to plotting the histo. Although you can still use the histogram to identify the model group, but not the model value. So whenever there is a numeric data, is like let's say age is 1, so 5, 6, 7, all the values are there. So we convert it into buckets to plot a better histogram. So whenever you have a bucket, then you can always find out the mode bucket, not the exact value of mode in case of numeric data. So modes in particular are probably the best applied to the nominal data. So male, female, and where categorical variables where we can apply mode very effectively. Advantages: it's very quick and easy to determine. It's an actual value of the data, not affected by extreme scores. Disadvantages: sometimes not very informative. For example, cigarette smoke in a day. So you cannot take out a mode into that. I would say that most of the time he has smoked for 5 cigarettes, so its mode is 5, or the measure of central tendency is 5. It cannot. Can change dramatically from sample to sample, maybe more than one, which is more representative. Our data can have more than one mode also. Median. Median is the point which is corresponding to the scores that lies in the middle of distribution. So when we say middle of the distribution, there are as many data points above the median as well as there are data points below the median. So median location is called the centered position. So let's say if I have a data set which is having 5 data points, then third data point, if I arrange it in the ascending or descending, then the third data point actually is the median. So median location, if n or the number of variables are odd, like 5 I gave the examples, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 by 2 is 3. So median location would be third. In case if the data set has even number of observations, then we go to the middle values. So let's say 10 observations. So what are the middle values here? Are 5 and 6, and we take the average of both the values, and that would be called median of data set. To find the median, data first needs to be sorted into ascending or descending values, and position can be calculated using the following. Advantage: it is resistance to outlier. Maybe one value is too high, but median is non-fluctuating due to that, because whenever you sorted, whatever is the highest or whatever is the lowest value, it will always pick up the data from the middle of the stack. Disadvantage: it cannot be so informative at times. So the dataset example here given, if you find out median is 2, which actually doesn't tells you the whole story. So 2 actually is not the central figure that we are looking at. The data distribution that we have at hand, a central figure should be more like 4 and 5. Mean is the most commonly used measure of the central tendency, and it is denoted by x for the sample and mu for the population. And mean is simply called average also, and it has been calculated as summation of all the x's divided by total number of observation. Okay, so one of the areas, like which one should I use? Should I use mean or median? So there is some comparison between mean and median here. Median is less sensitive to the outliers. Outliers means the extreme scores available in the data than the mean, and thus it's a better measure than the mean for a highly skewed distribution, like family income. So family income, father will definitely have more income, and then son will have lesser income, and the other people might be having very less income. So the spread is pretty huge. So in that case, median can be a good measure of central tendency for the family income. For example, mean of 20, 30, 40, and 990 is 270, and median is 35 here, because 35 40 divided by 2. So here 3 observation out of 4 lies between 20 to 40. That means the 270 really fails to give a realistic picture of the major data, because it has been influenced by 990. So we can say that the median is a better measure in this case. Okay, now mode versus median versus mean. When there is only one mode and distribution is fairly symmetrical, will have similar values, then it can be a mode is a good one. However, when the underlying distribution is not symmetrical, the 3 measures can be quite different. So the first one is when data is fairly symmetrical and it has only one mode, then mean median mode might overlap or would be very close. But when the data is not symmetrical, the mean median mode would be far apart, part away. It can be quite different.